Hi, everyone, and welcome to the final episode of Cronkite Sports Now for the semester. I'm Hadley Heck. Earlier this week, in a 7-2 vote, the Phoenix City Council decided to shut down sports fields and parks due to an influx of COVID-19 cases across the state. The move essentially cancels 30 soccer and softball tournaments between now and the end of February. Though there was a debate in the meeting, ultimately the City Council decided tournaments were too much of a health risk.
This is one of those things that shouldn't be political. We should be trusting science. We should be trusting the numbers and trying to protect each other during this pandemic.
Meanwhile, the Arizona Soccer Association says some of their tournaments will be affected more than others. Not all of their clubs use City of Phoenix fields. They expect to work with neighboring cities to reschedule some of their events. CEO Rick Kelsey says he respects the council's decision, but wants to work with city officials to come up with a better resolution.
Instead of just saying kids can't play, how do we understand what the solutions are so that we can ensure kids can play? Because we all recognize, and even the state superintendent acknowledged, the emotional impact on children right now is immense. And instead of looking for the solutions, we're just told we're the problem, but we're not being included in the conversation.
With a flurry of offseason moves, expectations for the Suns are sky high. With the addition of point guard Chris Paul, the team finally has an opportunity to end a decade-long playoff drought. With one of the most talented backcourts in the league, Paul and Devin Booker will be running the show. For Booker, he's excited to be playing with a future Hall of Famer.
You know, just his presence around the team just makes you want to work that much harder. Like I said, knowing his resume, knowing the places that he's been, you know, that we're all trying to go. So, you know, just following his lead, but at the same time, you know, adding our value and all helping each other out, you know, with the main goal of trying to win every basketball game we can.
The NFL Pro Bowl voting update features a number of players from the Arizona Cardinals. All in all, the team finished with 7 players in the top 10 of their position groups. Leading the way for the Cards are DeAndre Hopkins and Budda Baker. Hopkins leads all receivers in total votes, while on the opposite side of the ball, Baker leads all strong safeties. Quarterback Kyler Murray ranks 5th at his position, with Kelvin Beachum sitting 5th among tackles. The deadline to cast votes for this year's Pro Bowl is December 17th. Over the past few years, there's been an increase of tennis players who choose to play in college instead of professionally right out of high school. Cronkite News reporter Rachel Phillips looks at a recent Sun Devils grad success and how her and many others are paving the way for a new wave of tennis players on tour.
2016 ASU grad Desiree Kravchuk played in the women's doubles final at the French Open in October. That result moved her doubles ranking up to number 25 in the world.
Being at the slams is obviously amazing, but playing in the finals of one is incredible, and it's a dream come true.
Kravchuk credits her early success on the tour to her experience in college as a Sun Devil. But she isn't the only former college player who has made the transition and become an accomplished pro.
The collegiate system inside the United States is a perfect platform.
There's no question that I think college tennis is a sort of a pathway to the pros, whether it be singles or doubles.
It acts as a pathway because players don't always have the tools needed to succeed at the pro level right out of high school. According to Matt Hill, aside from the skill set, they need money, a competitive training base, coaches that can travel with them and provide up-to-date data, and wildcard access to tournaments.
They don't realize how those things are going to be massive hurdles to them getting into the top 100 and really making a living at the sport.
I personally just didn't think I was ready. Wasn't mature enough to do it, and we financially didn't have, the capability to do that.
In the past, the college route was the road less traveled, in part because those having success on the tour turned pro at such a young age. But now, there's more time.
There's longer life on the pro tour, which means, going to college for a couple of years, I think, is a good thing.
There's also been a stigma associated with players who chose to play in college.
That stigma will slowly change, but that takes a lot of time. A reputation is hard to break.
The biggest benefits to playing collegiately first, having more time to mature mentally and physically, improving time management, being guaranteed matches, and if they stay all 4 years, a degree.
We have strength coaches and teams around them to help them grow physically as an athlete. So we see greater gains in that area than a typical 18-year-old on the tour.
Desiree, she definitely needed 4 years of school. She improved every year. I mean, she wasn't even, one of our best doubles players when she came into college.
I was always like scared of being at the net, but I think I obviously grew because I had higher upperclassmen that had helped me when I was a freshman and a sophomore. So they kind of got me more comfortable.
So comfortable that Desiree now makes her living at the net.
I'm just like all over. So it's like, it's kind of like how it is my strongest point.
And it's the lessons learned in college from Coach McInerney that got her there.
I totally remember she had like a chair or like a bench behind me. She's like, don't go back. And then we had our assistant coach like firing balls at us. And I'm just like, I like wanted to keep going back, but I couldn't. So, oh yeah, I remember those days.
ASU freshman Max McKinnon knew he wanted to play college tennis first, so he too could improve at the net and mature both mentally and physically before turning pro.
I just want to, use my time here to the fullest and, improve every single day and get better. And at the end of the 4 years, if I've done that, then I'll be one, happy with myself, and two, hopefully be ready for pros.
For Hill and McInerney, having players like Kravchuk succeed at the next level helps give their program credibility to future players.
It makes it feel like it's possible. Like, okay, this is something that I can do. It's not just a pipe dream that I've had since I was 8.
While McKinnon will continue working on achieving those dreams, Kravchuk gets to continue living out hers. For Cronkite News, I'm Rachel Phillips.
How far can you ride a bike? Cronkite News reporter Sarandon Raboyne found out how a bicyclist with ties to Phoenix rode 2,200 miles along the Underground Railroad last month.
There are few cross-country trails in the United States that have as much historical and cultural significance as the Underground Railroad.
The Underground Railroad was a set of escape routes for enslaved African Americans to follow, assisted by free blacks and supportive whites, where they could make their way up north, usually to Canada.
In November, Eric Cedeno, owner of the Bicycle Nomad brand and former Phoenix coffee shop, set off to ride for the second time the entire Underground Railroad from Louisiana to Canada, but this time under a different set of circumstances.
I wanted to retrace the history of the Underground Railroad because I wanted to engage myself in the experience. In 2014, what I did was I wanted to see what it felt to ride at night, to have that fear of riding unknown, right? In places where you don't know and it's dark, you can't see. And the route follows an old spiritual song that freedom seekers will sing in plantations, and it's called Follow the Drinking Gourd.
Follow the drinking gourd, follow the drinking gourd, for the old man is a-waiting for to carry you to freedom. Follow the drinking gourd.
This time, Eric didn't travel alone. He escorted a first-time rider on the historic 2,200-mile journey.
The difference from 2014, where I was escaping to freedom, and where this time I felt more like a conductor, because I had someone that never traveled by bike before. And this is a really hard trip to take as a first experience.
That experience also includes camping out in the elements, which can be just as rewarding as the ride.
Seeing his photos and stuff, you can camp outside next to a beautiful lake. You can sleep in like underground passages. It's a whole lot. It's crazy. It's really exciting.
For Cedeno, the trip not only strengthens his body, but his mind as well.
While I'm on the trail, because this is my meditation. This is the time that I took 30 days for myself to be a better human being. I can't worry about anybody else.
Eric posted about his travels on his Instagram account, Bicycle Nomad, where he hopes to inspire people to strap on the pedals.
I just want people to travel by bicycle, and regardless of what that is, like I always tell people, you don't have to do a 30-day trip. You could just do a one-day trip.
It's nice to see that the Underground Railroad continues to be a pathway for travelers to this day. Reporting for Cronkite News, I'm Serena Raboyne.
That'll do it for the final episode of the semester, and for all of us here at Cronkite Sports Now, I'm Hadley Heck. Thanks for watching and have a great winter break.